This is Titletown Sound.
If Joe Flacco is worth a fourth-round pick, Antonio Brown might be worth a negative fifth-round pick.
Again, I'm just a fat dude sitting on the couch, but I watch a lot of football.
I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year one, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Zerks. I mean, not even well-trained.
Welcome, Packers fans. The Titletown Sound podcast. This is the podcast for fans of the Green Bay Packers and fans of debuts. This week, the Packers debut again. Well, the season starts. That's what happens this week. So they can they debut again? That was what caught me. That tripped me up for a second.
I mean, I feel like debut again is like jumbo shrimp.
Right. That's why I got confused because I don't pre-write anything for the show because that's work. Anyway, I want to welcome the co-hosts you already heard. One of them, he sits to my, is that left or right? He sits to this side. It's James Corsmo. James, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be back in regular season form.
No preseason. No.
That's the problem. No preseason. We couldn't work it out this year. My other co-host, it's Kevin Christofko. He's my brother, so I have to have him on. Hey, Kev, what's going on?
How you doing?
Guys, it feels like we know we haven't done the show much in the offseason, but I feel so much more disconnected with this season than I have any other, and that's my doing because there's so much going on and my brain's in a million places. James, I'm sure you're going through the same thing. But
yeah.
But the Packers have a roster.
My brain only has the capacity to be in two places, so I understand how you would not assume I was doing the same thing.
You're much smarter than we are, is the thing.
So James Hamlin checks in and says, hey, I don't know if we can. Good. We can put people's we're broadcasting tonight to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So I'm not sure how this technology is going to work. I'm shocked that it is working. But we have a few viewers right now. We appreciate it. But the roster, James, were there surprises? Because I was a little bit surprised by a couple of things. Were there surprises you saw? What were they?
I was a little surprised that they let Kumaro go. His production, I don't think warranted necessarily a place on the active roster. But I know that Aaron Rodgers really liked him a lot and trusted him. And I believe Rodgers in an interview a day or two prior to cutdowns actually penciled in Kumaro as somebody who is going to make a big difference this year.
Yeah, that surprised me too because they've shown the faith in him. Not necessarily because I think he's that great, but because the team and Rodgers has shown some faith in him in the past.
Yeah, and I mean I think in 22 career games, I could be getting this backwards, but if I remember right, it's 22 career games, 21 catches. So I mean, it's not his production hasn't been out of this world, but right. I mean, I think it goes to show what to expect a little bit more from this offense with LaFleur in year two. Jettison some of the wide receivers that are kind of taking up space and have 62 tight ends and a couple dozen running backs.
Well, here's the problem that I have, and James Hamlin brought it up in the chat where he says too many QBs, and I agree. Why are the Packers carrying three quarterbacks? In my mind, Kevin, if you draft a first-round quarterback, if he can't be ready to back up Aaron Rodgers, what the hell's going on? That confuses me. You?
In a normal year, I might say totally 100%, but I might give a little bit of leeway this year just because there is no preseason, and it's a little bit different situation. I imagine there's some accommodations on the roster to have some extra people anyway that you would have normally had in a previous year. I don't know exactly how that works out.
There's not, but there is. Here's what I thought was odd. But there is the opportunity to keep, you think he's going to get picked up somewhere, James? Why can't you put him on the practice squad?
Right. Well, I mean, and
not Kumaro.
Oh, Love. I mean, yeah.
Not Love on the practice squad.
Boyle.
Boyle, thank you. Yeah, eventually we'd get there.
But if you're on the practice squad, can't anybody just sign you if
Yeah.
they offer you?
Yeah,
a job
yeah.
on the
If you,
roster?
well, I think there's actually there are a couple of protected slots, and that might be new this year.
Well,
I'd have to look. I don't know,
but what you can do, but you can sign them yourself. So if I tell, my third string quarterback, look, I'm stashing you in the practice squad. You're not leaving. If somebody wants to sign you, I'm going to keep you. I just can't hold a roster spot for you. He's still free to shop around for an active roster spot somewhere else. I just don't understand how it makes sense to carry 3 quarterbacks unless Boyle's only going to be with you for a few weeks. If that's the plan, then I'm with you. Then I get it. But if he's to be here for 17 weeks, I don't understand that. Am I wrong on that, Kevin? You look, maybe you're either skeptical or not interested, which it could be both.
I mean, it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. No, I think that everything is kind of out the window in terms of traditional front office maneuvers over the last several months. So I think I'm a little bit more open to what they're doing, because I feel like with the draft, even though we didn't necessarily agree with the plan, I feel like they still had a plan. I could be wrong. They could have been winging it. What do I know? But I feel like this is part of just continuation of that. And I think that part of that plan has to do with the different atmosphere that we're in now and how we're practicing together. So I would imagine that it's something bigger than that. This might not have happened last year. And
the thing that I didn't even like, it didn't even occur to me. COVID, if Love ends up testing positive, then you want to have somebody else who knows the offense. So maybe that's why they did it. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that could be a part of it. But I mean, from all accounts, it sounds like Boyle just outplayed Love in training camp. And I mean, I understand, the thought process of, well, we traded up to draft this guy in the first round. Why is he not number 2 on the depth chart? But if he got outplayed, then you have to put your ego and your pride aside on that draft pick and just say, you know what, we got to have the roster set up for success as best we can. So now who knows what'll happen 2, 3, 4 weeks from now. Maybe Love will leapfrog over Boyle in the depth chart, and we don't know. But as of right now, I think LaFleur said that Boyle got it by virtue of his knowledge of the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So give Love 2 months to figure things out. Who knows? Maybe by then, hopefully we won't need to find out who's quarterback number 2.
That's true.
I mean,
but it is a league with 100% injury rate. So at some point, I'm trying to think of other surprises or things that maybe people weren't expecting. Reggie Bagleton not making this team, a little bit of a surprise.
Real quick, Chris.
Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier with Jake Kumaro, and even though we're not doing headlines, I had a headline. It was Kumaro numero Buffalo, and now we're talking about Reggie Bagleton, and my headline would have been Bagleton no locks to make the roster. So
nice. That's a good one.
I like that we're doing Kevin's headline B-sides now.
That was good. The deep cut.
Foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing, I think.
Well, it is.
Those are fantastic. I love those.
So, by the way, we lost some viewers because, I mean, the longer you watch us, the less likely you are to continue. But they are dropping out of this live stream at the exact worst time. So, anything else that we need to talk about with the roster? Because I'm dying to get to this next segment.
Let's just get to the next segment because I'm dying to be part of it.
Okay, we could go back and we can talk about more roster stuff if we choose. So the next thing we'll do is talk about a news story. We're not, it's not like a traditional headline, but there was a news story that caught our interest last week or earlier this week, where the NFL, because most teams are on, I think maybe in Dallas they're starting with some fans because that moron down there can't keep it in his pants. But most stadiums will be empty. But the NFL issued a memo that said that they're going to give the teams an audio loop, like a mixtape, basically, to play in the stadium at 70 decibels starting at kickoff. And the NFL will monitor the audio throughout the game to make sure that the crowd noise isn't above or below. And you could lose draft picks, or, if you're Bill Belichick, it just gets, brushed under the rug. But that's the story. but it's the same crowd noise like for every stadium. It's generic. So Kevin, what did we think? We said that's not good enough. Not for our fans.
No, that doesn't bring, for the fans who normally are at the stadium and now have to watch it at home, that doesn't bring the authentic stadium experience home.
Right.
That's
So
exactly what I said. I've got a photographic memory.
yeah, photogenic memory. So we decided to craft a bit of an album. I don't know what you call them anymore, but it's 10 tracks that will supplement the NFL's audio because it's going to give you the feel like you're at Lambeau Field. So I think we should just play them. Now, you guys have not heard the finished product yet. The first one I'm going to play, sometimes, fans at Lambeau can be a little bit negative. So if that's happening, you just click play on track number 1.
Three and out. Start love next series.
So when Rodgers has that first 3 and out, you just play that. You feel like you're there. By the way, that is authentic Lambeau Field booing. Any idea who was being booed in that clip?
I'm hoping it was it Brett Favre?
It was very nicely done. You've got an ear. Circle gets the square. Let's go to track number 2. Now, what if you get up from the couch, you go grab a beer, something takes a little bit long, you want that authentic stadium experience, play track number 2.
Oh, sorry it took so long there. They was all out of sauerkraut.
Right, so, when there's a line at the fridge, it happens.
How do you get is he referring to himself as they and talking about his own sauerkraut?
I mean, you recorded the damn thing, James. Are you a method actor? You don't even know?
I do like the method actor.
He's a meth actor. It's a little different.
Now, sometimes the team is going to disappoint you. Maybe it's not time to boo, but you want to make a comment, but you want to tailor to your team, not just the NFL's generic audio.
Oh, that run play was like Najee Davenport in a dorm room closet, if you know what I'm saying.
Hippie. There's that. That's that Midwest sense of humor there. That's track number 3. Guys, I don't know if you've been to the stadium recently, but prices, they are expensive. So when you want to relive that stadium experience, you just play track number 4.
Beer here. Get your ice cold beer here. Mortgage here. Get your fucking mortgage.
Also authentic Lambeau audio in that clip. Also from a Brett Favre event, but that's when he was coming back to the team for his Hall of Fame induction. All right. Now, Packers are a pretty young team. New coach, new system. Sometimes you feel like they're not even doing what the old system did. Just not good enough. When that happens, play track number 5.
Oh, McCarthy could have made a better play call while getting himself a massage.
Right? It's that nostalgia for the way things used to be.
Yeah. The old days are always a good fallback pillow when you need one.
Now, Kevin, let me ask you. You're sitting in your living room, right? You're enjoying the game, probably properly masked, even with your own family.
Especially with my own family.
But there's some things you just can't enjoy. Right? Like some things in the stadium, it's just never going to be the same. That's why we play track number 6.
Oh, here comes that wave. Oh.
We encourage you when you hear that, get to your feet, do the wave in your living room. Nobody can stop you.
You have to wait until the other team has the ball.
Kevin, I missed you here.
Can we play that again where we do the wave?
All right, so it's Kevin, then me, then James?
Yeah.
Who goes first?
I'll go.
All right.
All right, go.
Oh, here comes that wave. Oh.
I think we found the guy with the slow broadband, though.
No, I think I jumped the gun a little bit.
You
I was trying to time it around.
You prematurely elated.
But what you
All right,
can't
let's
see
go.
is that there's 3 people sitting between James and Chris here, so that was actually perfect timing.
Let's go to the next track.
Oh, that running back is more slippery than Mark Chimura in a hot tub.
That is slippery.
Hold on a second. A Mark Chimura reference. I wonder who wrote that one.
Timely. There's kids listening to this show on Wikipedia right now trying to figure out who we're talking about. There's no
Are
kids.
there though?
He was acquitted.
They're not. All right. Now, what is the worst thing sometimes about going to Lambeau Field? James?
Restrooms.
That's bad. What
Traffic.
Traffic is terrible. How about when an exciting third down is occurring and those kids in front of you won't sit the hell down? You play track number 8.
Sit down, whippersnapper.
A lot of build-up, but I think it pays off.
We might want to note, for this particular track, you should start it halfway through second down. Otherwise, you're going to get it at midway through fourth down.
That might be my favorite one.
There's this is a.
Oh, wait, we got to give the MVP award to James Hamlin, who predicted a few minutes ago that one of these has to be someone yelling at you to sit down. All right, James, one of them is. All right, we only have 2 more tracks, but I think these are some of our best work. This one, I think it speaks for itself.
Hey, you called that a bratwurst? Oh, hey, this is a bratwurst.
It is not the context that I envisioned when I recorded that.
James, I have an artistic vision. I don't always share it with the talent.
I feel used.
I think it's worth a replay. And there's more to the story.
Hey, you called that a bratwurst? Oh, hey, this is a bratwurst.
Okay, so if you noticed the background, it was bathroom sounds.
Brett Favre.
No, so I've got to play this. Here's the YouTube video that came from.
Hello, listener. The purpose of this audio piece is to help you become more comfortable with using the public washroom. If you have ever felt any form of shyness or discomfort when going into a public restroom, then please be aware that you are not alone. As you listen to this recording, you will become immersed in the orchestra of flushing toilets, running water, and people attending to their natural business. Keyword there is natural, as in it is in our nature to attend to our bowel movements, and fear could not get in the way of that. You have nothing to fear for. You may begin by first listening to this in the comfort of your own personal washroom and slowly move to a public washroom when you feel like you are ready. Let us begin.
Do you take this with you when you listen to the public washroom?
So anyway, that we found on YouTube by searching "soothing public washroom sound."
Oh man,
that was track 9. That's a good one. That might be the single.
Although it's track 9, it's a solid number 2.
And now number 10. This you want to play really maybe even before you turn the TV on, right at the beginning of the game.
Presenting the colors this evening is a joint service color guard.
Oh, here comes the national anthem. Oh, hey, Tom, let me know if any of these overpaid thugs kneel for it, though. I gotta go make friends with Mr. Brewski.
So that can address all of your concerns about national anthem protests as you go off to honor our country by grabbing a beer.
Well, if it's a butt, it's fine because there's a flag on the bottle. I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
But we'll take it offline because it's about the order of the tracks. I feel like this one should have been the first, but maybe it was just listed here.
That's a good point.
Or just encourage people to play it on random and just hope
So
for the best.
here's why it's last, because it took the most effort to put together, because I layered like 5 tracks to create that ridiculousness. So yeah, it didn't occur to me that maybe that should have let off.
That's all good.
So there you go. If you're a patron, here's the deal. If you're a patron, I will send these to you if you, for some reason, would like to make your own soundboard at home. We were thinking about putting them on iTunes as a joke to see if you guys would actually listen to James cry about the price of beer in your own home. But it's not really a joke, because what we want to happen, and I don't think it happens when you ask, but what we'd like to happen is this to go viral. That's where you share it with a lot of people.
Right.
Oh, you would not call it viral now because of the pandemic?
Well, for several reasons.
Right.
Just kidding. All right. Anything, James, any tracks that you need to hear again? Because you did such a wonderful job recording these.
It was really nice to channel my inner upper Northwoods Wisconsinite. And no, I don't need to hear them again. I do need to hear the opening to the YouTube clip with the telling me how to go to the bathroom in public places one more time, though.
Oh, well, you're going to have to pad for me a little bit, but I can do that.
No, you don't have to do that. We'll have a 2-hour-long show tonight.
Well, okay, anything else we need to talk about with the roster? Sorry to jump back and forth. We're going to talk about the Vikings game after the break. But what about the running back situation, James? Were you surprised to see who they ended up keeping? I mean, or where the depth chart ends up being, really?
No, it shook out pretty much where I thought it would, with obviously Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, and then A.J. Dillon as the third back. It'll be really interesting to see the kind of sets and formations that LaFleur brings in this year with Josiah DeGuara and in the backfield, along with, I mean, if you could potentially have a backfield like a diamond backfield with Rodgers, under center, and Aaron Jones on one side, Jamal Williams on the other, and then DeGuara behind. I mean, there's so many different variations. You can even throw Sternberger in there. I am really excited to see what they come up with, because these guys are amazing athletes, and AJ Dillon's going to run over people, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that.
And there was some criticism I saw online about the Packers taking Dillon so high and then really not featuring him as a number 1 or number 2. Now, obviously, with Aaron Jones, you're not going to feature him as your number 1, but do you agree with that criticism? Is there something there, or is that nothing?
No, I mean, Jamal Williams isn't a bad football player. So I think they really drafted Dillon for next year. Is what I think. I think that because both Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are free agents after this season. So
now, hang on. Did you see that the Packers are allegedly working on extending Aaron Jones?
Yes.
Did you see that today? Because I'm wondering where the money's coming from. Yeah. So what do you?
My theory would have been if you're not going to extend him, and you've got Dillon for next year, you just run those guys into the ground, and Dillon gets some limited play.
Yeah.
But I think that might change a little bit if you plan on bringing one of them back.
Well, what do you think?
It changes a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think that this is this is actually happening? That it's possible that they're going to end up re-signing him?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to re-sign him and Bakhtiari, and I mean, if there's one thing we've learned over the last couple of years in the NFL, but particularly with Russ Ball, the salary cap is kind of just a myth at this point. Like
it's very flexible.
Right. It's there, but it's not. It doesn't mean a whole lot because there's so many workarounds with it, and we have probably one of the best worker-arounders in the front office in Russ Ball. So I fully expect that, Jones and Bakhtiari, maybe even Kevin King, I don't know what they can do, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else before we kind of start going to break here?
I've never had problems going to the bathroom in public before, but I might start just so I can listen to that video more.
And I wasn't looking for that. I wasn't looking for a instructional video on going to the bathroom. By the way, the video itself is just a blank screen, so don't worry. You're not seeing anything. Or I'm sorry to let you down. I'm not pretending. But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff on YouTube. Monitor your kid's screen time. Trust me. All right. Before we go to break, let's talk about our wonderful people, our patrons, our Hall of Famers, our OGs. You can support us on Patreon as well by going to www.patreon.com/TTSO. You make a small or large per episode donation, and we give you some bonuses and bonus shows, and we talk to you, and we let you on the show, and we appreciate you. And we appreciate these people, Kevin, the most.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do.
All right.
Like any good album, right? There are some tracks that hit the cutting room floor.
Okay.
So I'm going to share with our listeners some of the cutting room floor tracks that our patrons wrote for us. I don't know, whatever the tie-in that you need.
Just go with it. Yeah. Whatever gets you there.
All right. So Scott Neer says the D line is getting less support than Jermichael Finley's baby mama.
Oh, jeez.
That is what Scott. Jason Hicks.
That's accurate.
Jason Hicks. Damn, this team runs the shotgun offense better than Kabir Kabaja-Biamila. I'm anticipating the firearms reference there is what we're going for.
Nice. That's nice.
That's good. Milo Mead song. Did we do the nacho stand?
No.
Okay. The line for that bathroom over there. See, I always go
to Baltimore.
I'm gonna do mine in Baltimore. I'm a visiting Baltimore fan.
Nice. I like this is method act. James, take notes.
The line for that bathroom over there is all the way down to that nacho stand, hon.
Yeah, what do you put on them nachos?
Them jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
Viennetta
Bay on them nachos.
Don't you dare mock the Viennetta. That is.
I found the line. I'm sorry.
All right, Chris Corsmo. I like your hand warmers. Thanks. I got him at the Quick Trip over in Rhinelander.
I had a different accent in mind, but I think it worked.
Let's see. Jeff Augustine. I don't know if I've got any more. Actually,
you're out. These are actual cut tracks. He's not making this up.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, we'll just make them up as we go. How about this?
Oh, he froze.
Oh boy!
I think he turned off his router. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. I'm back. Yes, I was trying to buy myself some time. We were in Jeff Augustine. Right? I was trying to write some more.
You're killing.
You are going to kick a field goal like Mason Crosby does.
Yes, good one. That's a good one.
That one. Okay.
Strong. Record that. Make that your ringtone.
James Hamblin. For James Hamblin, the one that hit the cutting room floor was that was actually a touchdown, sir. The ball crossed the line of scrimmage, then crossed the plane of the end zone for 6 points, possibly a 7th pending the extra point.
That's how you believe James Hamlin attends football games?
I heard that once from somebody, not even James Hamlin, but yes, I heard that, and so that's what James Hamlin would say in my mind.
Okay.
Just mansplaining the rules of football to the officials the entire game.
No, he's just being polite about it. That's all. He was politely explaining.
Are you done now?
Oh God, I was done.
I hope not.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, folks, we have a very special guest. Before we get to the Minnesota game, we have an interview with the Presidential Medal of Freedom winner. You're going to want to stick with us for this one.
This episode is unbelievable, guys.
I don't know how we got him. I had it. We pre-recorded this interview, and it is, guys. I'm so excited. All right, we'll be right back with Coach Lou Holtz. Did you know that you can help support our show financially without any additional cost to you? Well, if you use Amazon, and let's face it, who doesn't? You can go through our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a small portion of the proceeds. You pay nothing extra, and you still get your awesome stuff delivered in like 2 days. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon and just order like you normally would, and you help the show. That's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Happy shopping.
If you would like to support the show and help others find it, give us a review and a rating. Go to Apple Podcasts and write something nice and give us 5 stars. Thanks.
Welcome back to the show. All right, we teased it long enough, guys. I think it's time. I was able to record the interview with Lou Holtz. We found out he was receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Was Kevin? You had like a contact for his agent.
I had his jitterbug number. It's 6.
Okay. All right. So you were able to reach out. So I'm gonna just put this up on. You guys are really. If you're not watching tonight's show live, you're really missing out. So I'm just gonna play the interview. Here we go. Lou, it is an honor to have you here on the show, and congratulations on your. 1 second. I'm not seeing the. Let's try this again. I didn't see the moving pictures moving, gentlemen. I don't know about you.
I didn't see it either. I thought, when he was relevant, there were no moving pictures.
That's true. All right, let's try this again and see if it works. Congratulations on your contributions to football and for all that you do. But receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom, that's an amazing honor. Would you call it stupendous, significant, even surprising? Thanks, Chris. I would call it all 3. Stupendous. It's the most amazing honor I've ever gotten. Significant for my family and friends. Surprising? No, not really. He said I could have one if I spoke at the RNC. Okay. Coach Holtz, what are your greatest memories as a football coach? It had to be when young Donald Trump overcame some nasty bone spurs and rushed for 2,000 yards against San Diego State. But Coach, that never happened. You mainstream guys are all the same. Liberal, communist, socialist, Sanders-loving, AOC-worshipping hypocrites. This interview is finished. Well, I guess we'd like to thank Coach Holtz for joining us tonight, and congratulations, Coach. Yeah, so a bit of an odd ending to that interview, but I'm glad he joined us.
We got him twice, which is the fun part.
So apparently, if you're watching live, the audio was... Were you guys hearing it doubled over? I don't hear you, Kevin. You must be muted.
That's actually how he talks in real life. So if you don't like it, you guys are just haters.
So what happened? It must have played. Did it play a few times? I apologize. So we didn't have a technology. Technology was still a problem tonight, but on the audio for the podcast, it'll be clear. But then the sight gag doesn't work.
We should have just had him live.
Well,
too.
Yeah, he was busy.
He died 15 years ago. How can we do that?
He
That
gets
was
up
also
15 minutes for breakfast.
yeah. That was all right. Well, the album went well, guys. At least that went well. Let's talk about Minnesota Week 1. The season's actually here. I feel like we've buried the lead. Packers go to Minnesota to an empty stadium with bland piped-in audio, unlike the normal piped-in audio. First, before we kind of start talking about the elements of this game to be concerned about or to be excited about, what do you think, James? What the Packers, do you know enough at this point, since there hasn't been enough media attention, do you think you know enough as a fan to know what to even expect in Week 1?
Football. No, I feel like I expect a lot of, as Lou Holtz would say, sloppiness. I think it's going to be a lot of sloppy football out there. On both sides, really. I mean, there hasn't been as much, practice time for either team. It's going to be a weird setting without any actual people there. Just the whole thing's going to be odd. That being said, Minnesota, they're not Minnesota that from the last few years. Their defense is half of what it used to be. Their secondary, especially, they lost Everson Griffin, my best friend. Daniel,
significant departures.
Yeah, I mean, I was really sad when he left. Daniel Hunter is on the IR now. He just got put on the IR today, so that's one of their big pass rushers. So I mean, their defense, it's still going to be good because it's the Vikings, but I don't think it'll be as quality as it has been. And offensively, they still have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. And they have no offensive line. So
one thing that we forgot to talk about, or that we wanted to talk about at one point, was Kirk Cousins' response to coronavirus in the NFL was, "If I die, I die." I believe I've defended players like Kirk Cousins and said they didn't have the ability to be able to take this season off because they wouldn't get their jobs back. And then he has to go and say, "If I die, I die." Like, what? It's just such an asshat thing to say. And it doesn't, and there's 200,000 people, Kirk, who have died. Kind of want to break the no cursing rule, but I won't. It gives you another reason to hate Kirk Cousins, which is nice.
You know what it reminded me of a little bit is about 5 years after 9/11, when Mark Wahlberg came out and said that he was supposed to be on Flight 93 or one of the flights, Flight 11. And if he would have been on Flight 11, it wouldn't have went down that way. He wouldn't have let it. He would not have let that happen.
Oh, Mark.
And that
wait. Was he flying with the Funky Bunch?
The Funky Bunch were the pilots, I believe.
Well then, all right.
So I mean, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it was just insensitive and stupid, and it's like, you're Kirk Cousins. Shut up. I mean, that's just. I think you could respond to everything he says, Kev, with "your Kirk Cousins, shut up."
I got to be honest with you. I've been hooked on James's Lou Holtz impersonation, trying to place it, and I can't. James, can you hit us with another Lou Holtz, just real quick?
Sloppy.
Yes, you sound like the lunch lady from Billy Madison, the sloppy Joe.
I made them extra sloppy for you.
Yes. All right. What were we talking about? What is this podcast?
I think football. Kevin, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense that we're looking at is going to be a different defense.
Kev, can you speak up? Your levels are real low. If you could speak up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm trying to relax and leaning back a little bit, so I'll lean forward a little bit.
There you go.
You can see my beautiful face. I think that the defense, while it's changed a little bit, they got that guy from Jacksonville. I forget his name because I'm not very smart. They recently acquired him, so their defensive line is going to be pretty good still. It's not like they lost Griffin, but it's not like they've lost everything there. I don't think the secondary is going to be as good, I hope, and their wide receiving core is probably just as many question marks as the Packers wide receivers, if not more. I'm looking for the Packers to just kind of continue what they've done over the last few years, and that's take care of business, especially when they win by like 13 in Minnesota last year. So I think maybe like a 40 or 60 point win.
The way blink if you're being held hostage. I don't know enough about this team or about the Vikings to know what to expect. But here's one thing: I'm kind of surprised. I'm really excited about this game. I have not been excited about the NFL because I've been concerned for what's going to happen. But at this point, like, I'm really excited to watch a sporting event that I give a damn about. Not that hockey wasn't entertaining, and I'm just not a basketball fan, but I don't know, James, are you excited about this game, or are you still feeling the way we were before? It's getting to me.
So I've this past week I've gone through a lot of sports heartbreak. In Wisconsin, my Milwaukee Bucks got beat by the Heat, the Miami Heat, not like literal heat.
Oh, they didn't pass out from exhaustion.
They got locked in the bus.
They didn't get like locked in a sauna or something. Giannis Antetokounmpo got hurt, and then it was a mess. And the Brewers, up until today, have been just absolutely god awful. So I am looking forward to seeing a team that I think is going to be successful and fun to watch. There is still a part of me I'm not going to BS anybody that is equal parts apprehensive, because like I still don't think this season's going to happen all the way. And then another part, and then you kind of pair that with there's so much other crap going on in the world right now that's like just kind of it dampens my enthusiasm for a lot of this stuff. I don't. So I was actually saying earlier today, I don't feel as excited as I think I have in years past, and I'm sure that'll change.
Right.
But as of right now, for me, it's like, okay, this is really cool, but it's also like, there's other stuff going on in the world that is like not cool.
I think
I'm sorry. I believe if Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood taught me anything, James, you're feeling ambivalent. That's when you feel two feelings at once.
Daniel Tiger really taught ambivalent? Mm-hmm. Good for him. That's a good word.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't really understand how to use the word ambivalent until just now. I didn't know that.
Daniel Tiger, hey, man.
That's why he's got the tightest neighborhood up there, teaching grammar and yes.
Listen, my kids are smarter than I was.
I mean, that's a low ball. All right. So some specific things we should watch out for in this game. James, what's the concern with the offensive line?
Billy Turner's probably out, it looks like, with a knee injury, which means they're more than likely going to – Rick Wagner is going to be starting at right tackle, which is a little bit scary to me.
That means he can't go bass fishing that afternoon.
Right. I mean –
because if your name's Rick Wagner, you should be bass fishing.
Yeah. I mean, bass or perch at the very least. That's concerning, but I think the whole offensive line, other than Bakhtiari and Lindsley, really at this point, and Jenkins.
We just lost a viewer. I think it was a Rick Wagner logging off. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Rick. It concerns me a little bit, but if you're going to have any side of that offensive line not be as strong as normal, the right side is probably the better one, because Rodgers can at least see what's coming at him then.
Yeah. And also because there won't be anybody in the stadium, he can hear it.
Right. I mean,
I do kind of wish they leaned into that and just had an empty stadium and ambient sound of the game. I mean,
it would be like mic'd up. I wouldn't have to do anything.
Right. It's like you just have a boom mic in the stadium and you'd be fine.
Just one guy microphone.
I've been watching a lot of baseball, like Brewers baseball, and they pump in that noise, and it's, to me, it's just more annoying than anything. Like it's just it doesn't add anything to the game for me.
You can still kind of hear when the teams react, though, which I think is way cooler than the pumped in noise. I do like when a foul ball like wings off like a 10-year-old kid cardboard cutout head. Like that's kind of funny to me, but it's like because you get like, he that kid would have had a concussion, but he didn't, so it's funny, That kind of stuff is real funny to me.
That is, Kev. You have a great sense of humor. Let's go on to the next point we should pay attention to, and that is, what do you think the more intriguing matchup is? We'll start with you, Kevin. Minnesota offensive line, which is relatively non-existent, versus the Green Bay pass rush, or the Minnesota receiving core versus the Green Bay secondary?
Interesting. Because when you said the first one, I was like, yeah, definitely that one. Then you said the second one, I was like, maybe that one. I think the more interesting, more interesting matchup? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, which one do you think, or more intriguing, interesting, ambivalent, whatever?
I think for me, it'll be the secondary versus the wide receivers, because it's more exciting, flashier colors.
And it's also hard to break those two up, right? Because you're going to have the secondary aided by the pass rush, you hope.
Yeah.
James, do you think that those two matchups, which I think favor the Packers, do they have the opportunity to create a lot of turnovers against, remember, Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I do. Kevin King, healthy Kevin King, and Jair Alexander.
He should be healthy for at least the first, like, a part of the first quarter.
Series, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, along with, Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage and all, in our pass rush, the Smith brother. We haven't even talked about the Smith brothers.
Yeah.
Like that's in the last time that the Packers played Minnesota, the Smith guys got theirs. And
remember what Kirk Cousins said, Smith brothers: if he dies, he dies.
Right.
Yeah.
And as Chris says on the YouTube, Rashawn Gary, not only do I think he gets a little bit more playing time, I think he really breaks out this year. I really do. I think he's going to be shutting a lot of people up this year that say he's a bust already. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Kevin, here's a question. This is what I've been thinking about the last few days. I feel like this is not going to sound silly, but I think it's a huge year for Aaron Rodgers. What happens this year in this weird, stilted, possibly shortened season is going to affect his trajectory or how long he remains with this team. The way he plays this year and next year will determine whether or not he retires a Packer. There's still a chance. Although I think that chance is smaller than it was before. Do you think this is a really pivotal year for Aaron Rodgers, Kev? Do you think this determines a lot?
I don't think that he would necessarily agree with that. But I don't think that he would necessarily agree with that. But I think there's some truth to that. There's no. We watch the games and we definitely see some things that a few years ago we feel like would not have been an issue where they have been over the last year or so. Maybe that's the receivers, maybe that's Aaron Rodgers, maybe that's play calling,
right.
Any number of things. So in order to kind of shut that up, you do need to kind of put up or shut up,
Yeah.
If you want to dispel that, if you want to say, that was just, Greg Jennings talking out his rear, or that was just whatever, then you actually have to back that up. I feel like maybe that didn't happen last year when he was trying to set himself up to do that again. So, I think that this year is important, and it's not necessarily going to be about the stats. It's going to be more. It's just going to be how the offense flows as a whole. We've seen it when it's not in sync and not in rhythm. And as long as we see it in sync and in rhythm, that is what, to me, is going to be a good season for Aaron Rodgers.
That's a great lead into the next question, and I'll take this to James. James, what will this offense look like? Are we going to see in play calling and formations? Are we going to see a drastic change from what we saw last year?
I don't know if it'll be a drastic change as much as it'll be an implementation of more of the unique stuff that we started to see last year. I think last year it was kind of a blended year between a McCarthy type offense and a LaFleur type offense. You had the LaFleur, run first kind of gadget lots of moving parts, but you also had the McCarthy verticals. I think this year it's going to really be more of you're going to see personnel groupings that you haven't thought of yet. You're going to see formations that you're not sure are completely legal until you see it happen.
Those are the best formations.
Yeah.
It's cost extra.
So I really do, and I think it is going to be an offense more predicated on running the ball, and using play action, and getting their passing game. I think Rodgers is actually going to have a better year this year than he has in the last 2 or 3 years because of those things and his new familiarity with them. And I'm really looking forward to that part. I have to say,
he's asked in this offense, he should be asked to carry the team less, but he will be given the opportunity to do it. So I think the best thing that comes out of this is if the running game is on point, that Rodgers isn't under as much pressure, doesn't have to do as much, but is free to do what he, to be Aaron Rodgers. He's not a game manager. He needs to be more than that, obviously. And I think if this offense is executed properly, that's what it'll allow him to do.
Right. I mean, for me, I think back to when was Rodgers at his absolute, like, the zenith of his career. That was like 2010, 2011 through 2014. They had a really strong running game then. A really strong. I mean, they had Eddie Lacy, they had Ryan Grant, they had Brandon Jackson, they had all these good running backs, and they didn't necessarily base their passing game off the running game, but it certainly helped to do play action to Eddie Lacy and then throw the ball 40 yards downfield to Jordy Nelson. I think that opportunity is there now, because if you have a backfield with 3 guys that can carry the ball, and who does the defense go cover? That's going to be fun to watch.
Dakota brings up, and I love how Southern Dakota is. Not Southern Dakota, not like South Dakota, but I believe he is of Southern extraction. Because even when he writes on YouTube, he says, "Ooh, y'all should," and he meant to say talk about, but he said, "Y'all should y'all about the fact Greg Jennings is calling the game." That amuses the hell out of me. First of all, y'all are right. It is amusing. Second of all, Greg Jennings gets this game. How the hell is it we're so far down the line that Greg Jennings ends up in the booth? By the way, I'm not upset by this. I think it's going to be quite amusing. But Kevin.
Yeah, we're one step above Tom Brenneman at this point, I think.
No, we're so good old Tom.
So Greg Jennings will be doing the game. Jason's not even on the show. We don't have a Jason on the show. Where did I get to Jason? I went James and Kevin, and I made them Jason. James. Jason, why don't you weigh in on this? Anything else we should talk about this game? Next, we'll ask Larry, see what he has to say.
I really do think that, first of all, we know there's going to be overreactions either way. If the Packers win, oh my God, we're going to the Super Bowl for the next 10 years. If they lose, fire everybody. So I want, and I'm going to be one of those people, even though I say I'm not going to be, but I hope that everybody can, look with a little bit more patience and understand that week 1 does not make a season.
So you mentioned the big game, and I told you guys this today on our chat while I was listening to local radio, local personality Jason La Canfora. They had Pete Prisco on, and he said the Packers would be in the Super Bowl. I don't know if he meant as visitors or as viewers or no. But Jason, no, I'm just kidding. Jason La Canfora actually kind of ripped on him because he was like, I've known you, or I've worked with you for like 8 years, and for like 6 years you've picked the Packers to be in the Super Bowl. So,
well, see, why I didn't see that story, Kev? Because Pete Prisco has me blocked on Twitter.
Me too.
James, I forgot something.
You did?
I forgot your patrons.
Oh my patrons.
We were supposed to talk about patrons about 30 minutes ago, and I forgot.
It's okay, because we talked about other things that were also important,
but not as important as these wonderful people.
No, not even close. Like these patrons are much more important than whatever the crap we just talked about. All right, so we have Kyle Turpinning, DJ Lightfoot, Will Zine Savage, and Michael James Crowder. And like keeping with the somewhat theme of the show, they've all been banned from Lambeau Field because
God, sorry.
No, it's okay. They've all been banned because the other team gets too scared to even come out of the locker room, and they just stay in there and they cry and they whine, and
I heard they pee their pants.
They pee their pants a lot.
You think it's awkward being a guy with the last name Crowder right now when you're not allowed to form crowds?
Like, do you think somebody like is like, oh, a Crowder, you're probably responsible for this kind of stuff, right?
Probably. I'm gonna hire James Social Distancer instead of you, James Crowder.
Tim Super Spreader, get out of here. You don't
Yeah.
have a chance.
Oh, and Typhoid Mary, don't let me start about you.
I mean, but
now, Mary Super Spreader, you can hang out.
But Trevor N95 is in anywhere he needs to go. He's good.
Are we done with our patrons? I'm sorry. I hope that was
yes. We are done. We are done with our patron introduction.
They might be done with us after that introduction. There's another story that we have to mention before we get to our games, which are returning, and that story is that Odell Beckham Jr. likes to get pooped on. Anybody want to comment?
He's a Cleveland Brown.
Likes a good steamer. Anybody else?
Yeah, it could be a Pittsburgh.
I mean,
or Cincinnati bow tie.
A dead Rob.
I got nothing. I can't. I just can't.
I'm not one to kink shame, but I am one to kink shame about getting pooped on.
No, I'm not judging him at all. I'm just laughing at this particular thing.
I mean, maybe
I'm not judging him for that.
Right.
I'm just laughing at the whole thing in general.
Does he date Triumph the Insult Comic Dog?
That would be a good date for him to poop on.
That's kind of his whole shtick.
He wanted to try out at Scatback.
And of course, everyone saw the joke that he is a true number 2 receiver now. And I think we've gotten everything out of this we can.
I just got that.
All right, let's move on to our games for the season.
True or false, true or false, true or false, true or false. It's time to play true or false.
Now, if you're new to the show, we play true or false and spread them every week during the season. And if you are a patron at a high enough level, you will also get invited to play. We will email you the questions, and hopefully we won't forget before Sunday. We will email you the questions, and then you get to participate on the show, but you get to compete against the three of us who clearly have so much superior football knowledge.
Oh, man. You're going to get destroyed.
By the way, if anybody's interested in a Pick'em League, we are doing a Pick'em League over in our Facebook group. So go over to facebook.com, search groups for Titletown Sound Off, and you will find us. Join the group, and then you can get in the Pick'em pool. And you're not going to win anything, but if we beat you, we'll talk about it on the air. Kev, true or false?
All right, let's go to true or false. I believe this is the game that's 3 times more popular than Jeopardy. And
that's correct.
6 times more cash and prizes than Wheel of Fortune. But that could be, I made that one up, maybe. Okay.
We don't award any cash and prizes. Yes.
True or false? All right. I like you said this. Oh, don't forget true or false. And I was like, oh, I totally forgot true or false. So here we go. I wrote these questions like 10 minutes ago. No, in the 2 wins against the Vikings in 2019, Aaron Rodgers only had 2 total passing touchdowns? ? Is that right? True or false? Rodgers will have 2 total passing touchdowns against the Vikings in week 1 against their revamped defense. Chris, what do you think?
2. I'm going to say false. You mean 2 or more? Is that the question, or 2 exactly?
Yeah, 2 or more. 2 or more. Yeah.
I'm gonna say false. I think he gets 1.
All right, James, what do you think?
True.
Yeah, I think true too. I think that the defense. I think they're going to score some passers. I think they're going to get some passers. That's what I call passing touchdowns, guys.
I like that.
I learned that when I was backpacking in around Lake Titicaca. All right, question number 2. Chris, we'll go to you again. Last year against the Vikings, Aaron Jones averaged 5.9 yards per carry. That's true or false? In week 1 of 2020, Aaron Jones will rush for an average of at least 5.5 yards per carry.
False. That's just a huge number.
Right.
Huge.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, I gotta say false too. That's a lot.
I'm gonna say false as well because I think that it's gonna be a big pass. I think they're gonna have some big passing plays, and that when they run the ball, it's gonna be distributed evenly. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, question number 3. In the week 2 matchup last year, the Packers forced 3 turnovers of Kirk Cousins. I think like two interceptions and a fumble, and sacked him once. True or false? In week 1 this year, the Packers will force at least 1 turnover and at least 3 sacks. James, what do you think?
True.
True.
Yeah, I'm going to say true as well.
All right, yeah, definitely true. I think the defense is going to grab the chains and leather and dominate. All right, question number 4. James, let's start with you. Okay. Against the Packers, Adam Thielen has played 12 career games. In those games, he has 57 catches, 767 yards, and 4 touchdowns. True or false? In week 1, the Packers will hold Thielen to 5 or less catches and to 65 or less yards. I think those are about the averages for what it works out to per game. Now, the one thing I think that's interesting about his performance against the Packers is that it's been like a handful of big games that he's had all these yards and catches in. It hasn't been like he doesn't consistently destroy them, if that makes sense.
Okay, so what's the question again? I know it's for James, but
the question is, will a Gemini and Cancer be a good astrological sign match? No. True or false? In week 1, the Packers will hold Thielen to 5 or less catches and to 65 or less yards.
I'm going to say false because I think Thielen is the clear number 1 wide receiver right now. And Justin Jefferson, I don't know how much they're gonna throw the ball his way. Maybe Kyle Rudolph gets some, but I think Thielen's gonna get more than. I don't know if he'll get more than 65 yards, but I think he'll get more than 5 catches.
Chris, what do you think?
I'm gonna say true because I don't know why. I'm just being super optimistic about the Packers in there.
And yeah, I'm gonna say false because as I read the question, I realized that's not exactly how I meant to write it. So, question number 5. I'm going to start with me this time, guys. So true or false, me? The Packers will score the first touchdown of the game on Sunday. Of course, that's true. James, what do you think?
I'm going to say true.
Chris?
Yeah, I guess I got to say true as well.
I mean, unless you're playing for the true-false victory in week 1, you got to go with true, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So that was true or false?
Oh.
True or false is now over.
All right, that is the end of true or false, which brings us to our next game. And that game is appropriately named Spread 'em and has a 19-second intro, which we still have not shortened.
All right, hands on the hood and spread them.
That's right. Spread 'em is the game where you pick against the spread and we pick against the spread and we try to beat you and there are no prizes involved. Kevin, did I get it right?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Really?
Chris, why don't you explain to our listeners what the spread is for those of them who may have forgotten from last year how it works?
Oh, right. And for the co-hosts on the show who might have forgotten as well, I will explain.
I know there's a plus sign and I know there's a minus sign, but I can't remember which is which.
The Packers are 2.5-point dogs in Minnesota, so that means they are plus 2.5. And it's actually really simple to think about. When you see a betting line, if it says a team -3, that means you basically will subtract 3 points off of their final score. And if they don't win, then you don't win your bet.
And
right?
I'll remember that for the rest of the year. And then next year we'll do this again. So
the Packers are 2.5 point. Sure. The Packers are 2.5-point dogs on the road, which isn't the worst thing.
Chris, what do you think?
This is the worst. I'm such a homer, but I can't help it. And I do think the Packers are going to win this game, so I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah. James, what do you think?
So last year, my strategy was always pick the other team, and the Packers went 13-3. So do I want to sabotage my spread them, or do I want the Packers to win? I'm not going to mess with a good thing, and because I care about the Packers more than myself, like any good human being should. You're right. I'm an angel. So I'm gonna take Minnesota.
Oh, nice! I like that. Let's take one for the team, quite literally. I'm gonna go with the Packers. They would have, they would have. If the spread last year was 2.5, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank. Is this your stone cold lead pipe lock of the week?
Hold on a second. Guys, don't talk for a second, Chris, so you can isolate this soundbite, okay?
All right.
Take it to the bank. I went real angry for some reason. Perhaps some sort of Batman villain.
That was
I like it.
But we're good. I like
Baney, yeah, for sure.
Banish. Banal.
Banerific.
Banal. Yikes. Let's move on. What were we talking about? How did we get there?
Yeah, and I like our dedication to the 3-year-old true or false music too. I like.
Well, we're about to play like 4-year-old sound off music, so good. So Kevin had a good idea that at the end of the show we will do our sound off, which will just be a brief little bit of time where we talk about whatever the hell we want. I'm going to play this sound effect, but I'm not sure exactly how much. I don't know what to play. I haven't tried this out. So here's the sound off, and I will start. I'll go first as we wrap up the show.
It's time to sound off.
All right, nice. So it is the short version. Okay, I'm going to sound off and we've been talking about this a lot since we started like lockdown and all that crap. We've taken up fishing. Now here's my sound off. I've got 2 people I want to sound off about. One is my 9-year-old daughter. We went fishing. We went out to the lake. She caught 14 fish and I caught 2. Do you know how that feels when your daughter catches 12 more fish than you do and mocks you the whole day? Also, the guy who has to just stand too friggin' close to you while you're fishing. We're on a lake, like miles of lake coastline. And this jag has to stand right next to me like like he's my goddamn friend. That's it. That's what I got. Kevin, I get you
told me to move. Yeah, I mean, all you had to do was say, "Excuse me," just move up. What?
All right, now it's Kevin's turn.
Yeah, real quick.
Wait.
It's time to sound off.
Now you can go.
I really, really, really want the NFL season to be played in its entirety. And the more I listen to people talk about how, we didn't have any cases during the preseason or whatever, the more I get a little bit concerned that what happens when we get a case during the regular season? Because if we don't get a case during the regular season, then all these guys should be running the government and they should be in charge of everything because
it wouldn't be worse.
They figured out the secret sauce.
Ooh. All right. And James, it's your turn.
It's time to sound off.
Up until today, I had a terrible fear of using public restrooms. Just kidding. Having witnessed some of the things that have happened in our world recently, a little bit. I don't want to get too in depth or whatever, but in terms of the results of some of the social injustice that's been going on out there, and I just want to say that I would really like it if for just like once in our godforsaken lives on this planet, we could all just understand that we need to just shut the hell up and listen to people when they talk. And I know it doesn't make sense how if we all shut up, how can we listen to people when they talk? Because nobody would be talking. But like, I've seen these conflicts been going on in my community, in the community surrounding, not in Wisconsin, Kenosha, obviously. It's time for the people that haven't been given a voice to be allowed to be heard. And it's time for people who haven't ever shut up to listen to those people to shut up. And I know this isn't as funny as I'd like it to be.
Oh no, you just made me feel like an a-hole because I talked about not catching as many fish as my 9-year-old.
No. First of all, if you deserve to be mocked. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. But yeah, no, for real though. And then on the funny side, I do have a word to tweet, and I like Dakota's idea. But given the theme of today's show, kind of, sort of, I had to go to Google for this because I didn't know. I knew it existed, but I didn't know the word. So you have to go to Google for the spelling on this, but I'm going to say it for you phonetically.
Okay.
I'm going to say it right this time. Parauresis, which is the technical term for shy bladder syndrome.
Oh, okay. So that video,
or maybe it's parauresis. I bet you it's parauresis. Or
whatever. It's like you could also tweet shy bladder. We'll accept that as well.
Pair off with your sis, whatever it is.
Oh, that's different.
Pararesis.
Or
pararesis.
Peanut butter. Delicious.
Yeah, the old standard 2-pack, the pararesis. That's exactly what it is. All right, so tweet that at us. Hey, folks, thanks very much for watching and listening. And if you watch live and we're in the chat, we really, really enjoyed it. Do it again next week. We're going to try to do most weeks. Tuesday nights is our plan. Again, we always have a plan, and that always ends up not really being what we carry out. I think that's all we have for tonight. We will see you. Oh, I put the wrong thing. We will see you next week after the Packers hopefully are 1-0. And there we go. Now things are playing.
Tell your friends about us if you have any.
Your enemies about us. As long as they keep listening, who cares?
The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute, LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.